When Donald Cerrone and Melvin Guillard face off at UFC 150, it won't only be a matchup of two dynamic lightweights.
Cowboy trying to finish this fight. That's it. It's all over. Melvin Guillard with a spectacular finish.
It will be a showdown between former training partners at Greg Jackson's gym in Albuquerque.
We became really close friends over the 3 years that I was with Jackson's.
I know his wife, I know his little dogs. We train 3-4 times a week together. Grappling, stand-up, wrestling, we know each other.
Man, you know, Cowboy's crazy.
That's not vegan power.
You know, it's like, you know, he the craziest white boy I ever met. He also has his own private gym right at his ranch, so I would drive up there at times and we'll do class up there. His birthday's the 29th and mine's the 30th. We've actually celebrated birthdays together. It's almost like this was meant to happen.
Now, is the friendship gonna conflict the fight? Absolutely not. Y'all wanna see fireworks, it's going down. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna hit him less because I know him.
Donald called me and was like, guess we're gonna have to go scrap it out, bro. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
For Melvin, fighting someone he's close to is nothing new.
I grew up fighting with my brothers all the time, fighting a close friend. You know, in the neighborhood, you get into a street fight, you're still boys the next day. I guess it just toughened me up. Growing up in New Orleans, I did have several friends that were drug dealers. They also played football with me, but those guys were out doing their thing. My mom just didn't allow me to be around them at that time. I guess that's why I'm sitting here today as a successful young man, because of my parents. My dad was like my best friend. He was my biggest fan. He was the one who signed my professional license for me to turn pro. And he never missed a fight.
With his dad by his side, Melvin won his first 11 fights.
Melvin.
Earning a spot on Season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. But just before Melvin made his UFC debut,
And he cuts straight in to Marcus Davis.
tragedy struck.
My dad got sick around that time, and then when I got back from the show, Katrina hit. My dad stayed in New Orleans just helping rebuild the city. I ended up in Houston, so by the time I did move back home, he was really, really ill and then out of the hospital. He died from cirrhosis of the liver. He had a liver infection from drinking. He was 44 when he passed. It was definitely one of the toughest times in my life because I never thought I'd lose my dad. I started drinking. I started just partying, not caring. It was about a 2-year stretch that I just kind of just fell in the dumps and still trying to balance my career in the UFC.
Hounded by personal demons, Melvin lost 4 of his next 9 fights.
And then one day I just was like, I'm gonna lose out on my dream because of my hurt. But I know that would probably be letting my dad down even more. So put myself in rehab for 6 months. You know, going through it with my wife, I kind of dragged her into like a whole world of turmoil. But she didn't leave me, you know, she stayed with me the whole time.
In an attempt to get his career back on track, Melvin joined Greg Jackson's gym in 2009.
One more round, one more.
Coach Greg, he's one of the greatest people in my life. He not only helped me in the ring, but he helped me outside the ring with personal life issues. I really needed the structure because I was just like a loose cannon just running wild.
Millard pushing forward. Nice knee. He's rocked. Man, is he rocked. And again. Another one.
Melvin went on a 5-fight win streak,
Good sprawl. Nice. Oh, this hurts.
including 3 first-round knockouts.
He's a big left hook. Big hammer fist to follow. And the knee. Looking for the finish. His Melvin, the young assassin. How good is this kid?
But in 2011, when Melvin's close friend and teammate Rashad Evans left Jackson's gym for South Florida, Melvin went with him.
My career at Jackson's was great. It's just kind of, for my own personal reasons, you know, I ended up leaving. I could have probably moved here and lived here, but I still could have stayed there and trained. I didn't think of it like that. I just was like, okay, I'll move here, I'll train here.
And just as Evans ended up taking on former teammate John Jones, Melvin finds himself preparing for battle with Donald Cerrone.
There were times when I was at Jackson's, we'd be like, man, what'll happen if we have to fight, you know? And everybody's answer was, if we had to, we will.
Am I fighting a teammate? Yeah, so what? We're not really teammates anymore.
We talked about going out and just banging.
So explosive, so dynamic.
We'll go out and see which one of us get knocked out.
That's a fired up cowboy right there.
No one wants to bang, let's bang. I love it.
Coming up,
Oh, he has it.
All my fights are all wins by submission, mostly. His losses are all losses by submission.
Oh, he's got a guillotine. Can he do it early? An arm in, it is tight. Right over the top of the right with a big right hand. Is in trouble early.
I can knock anybody out. I'll knock out a heavyweight. I mean, I hit that hard.
Yeah. Oh, down goes Davis, and it is all over.
Keep dreaming. I got a hard chin, and just take it, and then keep coming.
when Colorado Springs native Donald Cerrone learned that UFC 150 was in Denver, he was desperate to get on the card.
I really want to get on that Denver card. That's my hometown, and I don't care who I fought. This is the year I'm ready for it.
That's like, put me on the card, put me on the card. The Pepsi Center was always like a dream. And I was like, man, someday I'm gonna fight here. And I kept getting turned down and no one would fight. So Melvin finally said yes, and I'm like, yes, great, let's do it.
Of course, Cowboys gonna have the home field advantage. But I think as far as crowd goes, I think we both have about even amount of cheers.
Hearing that place explode Saturday night is gonna be unbelievable. I mean, words can't even grasp what it feels like walking out in your hometown and have everyone going crazy.
Stylistically, Cerrone and Gillard are at opposite ends of the spectrum. 13 of Cerrone's 18 victories are via submission.
He's got it under. Trying to finish the fight. Oh, he has it. It is all over. Outstanding.
While 19 of Gillard's 30 wins are by knockout.
Gillard pushing forward. Nice knee. He's rocked. Man, is he rocked. And again. Another one. It is all over. Man, that is some serious speed.
Having trained with Gillard, Cerrone's camp feels prepared.
Like the matchup for Cowboy. We know everything about Melvin. Very athletic, very talented. The kid can jump out of the cage, but I know what Cowboy can do to him.
I've grown tremendously. Having Coach Henry, learning Dutch kickboxing compared to American kickboxing is like night and day. My techniques have changed. That's something that Donald haven't seen because now my style is completely different. He's definitely a very technical fighter, but I know he don't hit harder than me. I'm not worried about his power. It's just the way he accumulates his punches. I definitely have to be ready for that.
I would say I kick 90% more than I punch.
He puts the hands in front of him to get him to look at the hands and slams that leg kick in.
So he has to watch out for that. How many leg kicks did he take before his power starts fading?
It looks like he's getting ready to kick a football, John. That's how he throws that kick.
How long can he take head kicks?
We may see a stoppage by leg kick.
Yeah.
I know where he's weak. All my fights are all wins by submission mostly. His losses are all losses by submission.
I know in the back of my mind he has good submission game.
Maybe one of the best rubber guards in the business.
There it is. Switch to an omoplata.
But for my last fight, my submission game, it just came out. I was able to drill something in practice to where in the fight, when it happened, I didn't think about it. I just knew what to do.
And he gets it down. Right back up his Gillard.
So when it did happen, and I did get out of the bad spots, after the fight was over, I was happy to answer some of the questions for the critics.
That arm of Melvin trying to hook it. Gillard trying to scoot out of trouble. Oh, and Melvin gets out. Nicely done, Melvin Gillard.
I think there's his biggest steps to make for Melvin is on the floor, and he did well. So he got more confident.
If I were Melvin, I would be working on my takedown defense. I would also work on my submission defense.
Still trying to got it. He's got it. That is nasty. It is all over. Beautiful.
But then I gave me where to work on my leg kick defense.
Just the torque he gets in those kicks is outstanding.
And my hands. So there's a lot to work on.
I really don't even want it to be a technical fight. I want to turn it into an all-out brawl.
So explosive, so dynamic. That's one thing that Melvin Gillard has over almost everyone in this division is ridiculous speed.
We still have that camaraderie. We still like brothers at the end of the day. But I can knock anybody out. I'll knock out a heavyweight. I mean, I hit that hard.
Keep dreaming. I got a hard chin, man. And just take it, and then keep coming.
Cowboy got off the cage. Good punches by Nate, a good right hand by Dom.
We're just gonna go out and see which one of us get knocked out.
Right over the top of the line. Cena is in trouble early.
We definitely want to go in and steal the show and make sure this fight's fight of the night.
Big left hook. Big hammer fist to follow. How good is this kid?
UFC 150 in Denver, I will 100% defeat Melvin Gillard.
Now Cowboy sensing the opportunity to finish. Cowboy trying to finish. That's it.
Of course I'm gonna beat Cowboy Cerrone. I'm gonna knock Cowboy out.
Melvin Gillard, Donald Cerrone. Here we go.
Coming up.
When I came to the UFC, I decided to drop to welterweight, but I didn't feel like I was quite at my peak, so I'm moving back to 85. I feel like more punching power, a lot more power on my takedowns. Everything feels better right now.
His main focus is just being a bulldozer and doing what he does best is put guys to sleep and submit them.
Guillotine.